Good morning students. Welcome you all for next generation learning. Today we are going to see the subject physics class 9 chapter number 9 force and laws of motion. Under this chapter we have 6 topics. 9.1 balanced and unbalanced forces. 9.2 first law of motion. 9.3 inertia and mass. 9.4 second law of motion. 9.5 third law of motion. 9.6 conservation of momentum. From 9.1 to 9.4 we completed. Today we are going to see 9.5 third law of motion. So today's topics are 9.5 third law of motion, 9.6 conservation of momentum. So before going to see the definition of Newton's third law of motion, you have to look at this image. So when the boy, see here the boy is wearing roller skate, and when the boy exerts force on the wall, the wall also exert an equal force on the boy in the opposite direction. The opposite force exerted by the wall, which makes the boy on the roller skate move with the backward. So how do you know the wall exert a force on the boy? Due to the force exerted by the wall makes the boy on a roller skate move backward. So here there are the two forces, one is action force and another one is reaction force. So from this we can define the Newton's third law of motion. To every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is called Newton's third law of motion. That means here the boy applied some force on the wall. The wall also applied the force on the boy. Here there are the two forces, one is action force and another one is a reaction force. So every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is called Newton's third law of motion. For some experiment to demonstrate Newton's third law of motion, we have to take two similar spring balance A and B. See, this is a spring balance A and this is B. And join the hook to hook. You have to join the hook to hook. The other end of the balance B is attached to the hook fixed in a wall. Now let us pull the free end of the spring balance A to the right side by our hand. We find that both the spring balances show the same reading. See the reading of here and reading of the here. In B also shows 4 Newton and A also shows 4 Newton. So the spring balances shows the same force 4 Newton. When we pull the balance A, it exerts a force of 4 Newton on the balance B. The balance P pulls the balance A with an equal force of 4 Newton, but in opposite direction. See the direction? Here it is a right side, here it is left side, but same magnitude. In other words, we can say that when balance A exert a force on balance B, the balance B also exert an equal force of reaction on balance A. So since both the bring balances shows the same reading 4 Newton. From this we can conclude that action and reaction forces are equal in magnitude. That means here both the spring balance shows the same value 4 Newton. So same magnitude, and here the bring balance A move in the east side and bring balance move in the west side. So the direction of the two forces are different. So every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and the magnitude value is the same for an action and also reaction, but in the directions are different. Action and reaction on two different bodies. So action and reaction act on the not only for in a single body, it act on two different bodies. We will see this. Suppose a box is resting on the ground. So this is a box, it is resting on the ground. The box is exerting a downward force of its weight on the ground. So this is a box exerting a force on the ground of its weight. The downward weight of the box is balanced by an equal the upward forces supplied by the ground. So when we kept the box, the weight of the box in downward, the equal amount of forces exerted by the ground in opposite direction. So now the force exerted by the weight of the box is, so the weight of the box is called action force and acts on the ground, where the force exerted by the ground on the box is called reaction force. So from the ground the force is reaction, from the box it is called action force. Since box in equilibrium under the action of two forces, it neither goes up nor goes down. The action of the box must be equal to the action of the box must be equal to the and opposite to the reaction of the ground. So from this we can conclude that action of the box act on the ground, reaction of the ground act on the box. So action and reaction act on two different bodies, not a single body. Here box action force on the ground. The ground exert the reaction force on the box. So there are the two type of forces, action force and reaction force, in opposite direction and equal magnitude. So some examples to illustrate Newton's third law of motion. The first one, look at this. Here the man is walking. How the man is walking? When we walk on the ground, then our foot pushes the ground backward. In return, the ground pushes our foot forward. So there are the two type of forces, one is action force and another one is reaction force. So the forward reaction exerted by the ground on our foot makes us walk forward. Do you understand? When we walk on the ground, our foot pushes the ground backward. So this is action. For the ground exert the equal magnitude of force on the foot in the forward direction. Due to that forward reaction, we walk forward. The second example, if however the ground is slippery or there is an all ice, it becomes very difficult to walk. Why? This is due to the fact that the slippery ground or ice, the friction is much less. In a smooth ground or icy ground, the friction is very less. And we cannot exert a backward reaction. So we cannot exert some backward reaction on the ground. So the slippery ground or ice which would produce a forward reaction on us, the less forward reaction force on us. Due to the very much less friction, we cannot exert a backward action force on the slippery ground, so which would produce a forward reaction on us. The next example, a swimmer pushes the water backward with his hands and the feet to move forward direction in water. So this is action and this is reaction. So it is an equal and opposite reaction to this force which pushes the swimmer forward. The next example, when a bullet is fired from a gun, the force sending bullet forward is equal to the force sending the gun at backward. But due to the high mass of the gun, it moves only a little distance backward and it gives backward jerk or kick to the shoulder of the gunman. The gun is said to have recoiled. So this is called recoiled. So when we fired a bullet, the bullet go forward and the gun goes at backward. This is action and this is a reaction. Due to the high mass of the gun, we cannot see the backward jerk. The next one, the flying of jet aeroplanes and rocket are based on the principle of action and reaction. See this balloon. Here the air is come out, so action. The balloon is go at the back, reaction. The same way, if you take a rocket, the fuel is burn at the back, that is action. Due to that action, the rocket is moved forward. This is a reaction. The next example, when a man jump out of boat, see here the man is jump out of the boat to the bank of the river. The boat move backward and away from him, because we are giving the action force in this direction. The reaction forces act on the boat. So now do you understand what is meant by third law of motion? In every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. The next topic is conservation of momentum. You know that what is meant by the momentum? The every moving body possesses momentum. Mass into velocity is called momentum. So in second law of motion we have studied that a moving body possesses momentum which is equal to the product of the mass into velocity. So P equal to m into v, that is called momentum. We will now take one example to understand the conservation of momentum. So what is meant by the conservation of momentum? Look at this image. Here this is a car and this is a truck. Suppose a speeding truck hits on a stationary car due to which the car also starts moving. Now in this collision, the velocity of the truck decreases. The velocity of the truck decreases, but the velocity of the car is increases, because here the truck is hit with the car. So the velocity of the truck is decreases, the velocity of the car is increases. Due to this, the velocity of the truck and velocity of the car, due to that, it has been found that increasing in the momentum of the car. So when the velocity is increasing, the momentum also increasing, because P equal to m into v. Here the v is a velocity. The velocity is directly proportional to the momentum. So when the velocity is increasing, the momentum in the car is equal to, it has been found that increasing in the momentum of a car is equal to the decreasing the momentum of the truck, so that there is no loss of momentum in the collision. The momentum lost by the truck has been gained by the car. This is an illustration of an law of conservation of momentum. Dear students, please understand that the fast moving truck hits the stationary car. So after hit, the car also started to move. Now the truck also moving and car also moving. But the velocity of the truck is decreasing, the velocity of the car is increasing. When the velocity of the car is increasing, the momentum of the car also increased. When the velocity of the truck is decreasing, the momentum of the truck also decreased. But the increasing in the momentum of the car is equal to the decreasing the momentum of the truck. So there is no loss of momentum between car and truck. So from this we can say that here the momentum is conserved. That means the momentum does not change. It is constant. If it is a constant, means we can say the word conserved. So this is a derivation for conservation of momentum. Suppose there are the two objects, one is A and another one is B. This is A and this is B. It has mass m1 and it has a velocity u1. It has mass m2 and velocity u2. So before collision, it has mass m1 and velocity u1, and this object have mass m2 and velocity u2. This after collision, that means see here, this is a collision. After collision, The velocity is changed. Here v1, here u1. But the mass does not change. In object 2, the mass m2, the velocity in above cases before collision it is u2, and after collision v2. So calculating the force on both objects. Force on object 1. It has mass m1, acceleration a1. Because how to find the force? Force equal to m into a. We have to know the value of m and also a. So force equal to mass into acceleration. Mass, the acceleration equal to final velocity minus initial velocity by t. In object 1, the final velocity is v1. In object 1, the initial velocity is u1, final velocity is v1. So v1 minus u1 by t. This is a force on object 1. The force on object 2. So the mass of the object is m2 and the initial velocity is u1 and final u2. Initial velocity u2, final velocity v2. So mass equal to m2, acceleration a2, force equal to mass into acceleration, mass into final velocity minus initial velocity by t, because acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity by time. So here the final velocity is v2 and initial velocity is u2. m2 u2 minus v2 by t. This is force on the object 2, F2. From Newton's third law of motion, we know that when an object exerts a force on other object, the other object also exerts an equal and opposite force on the first object. So here we took the two balls, no? One is this and another one is this. So the first ball acts the force on the second one. The second ball also acts some force on the first ball, but equal in magnitude. Here 4 Newton means here also 4 Newton, but in opposite direction. So force exerted by an object A is equal to force exerted by an object B. That means minus. Because the force in opposite direction, here the minus is missed, you can add it. The force exerted by an object A, we can write m1 v1 minus u1 by t. We already calculated here. See, m1 v1 minus u1 by t. And the force of F2 equal to m2 v2 minus u2 by t. We have to substitute these values here. So m1 v1 minus u1 by t equal to m2, here the minus sign missed, you can add it, minus m2 v2 minus u2 by t. Why I am adding the minus sign? Because in opposite forces. So cancelling the t at the both the side, we cancelled. So the remaining thing m1 v1 minus u1 equal to minus m2 v2 minus u2. Now you can multiple m1 v1, multiple with the both the terms, minus m1 u1 equal to here minus m2 v2 plus m2 u2. Okay, so see this thing. m1 v1 minus m1 u1 equal to minus m2 v2 plus m2 u2. So rearrange this equation. When the m2 v2 come here, this is plus m2 v2. So m1 v1 plus m2 v2. The m1 u1 to right side. So m2 u2 plus m1 u1. See, m1 v1 plus m2 v2. The m1 is the mass of the object A and m2 is the mass of the object B. v1 is the velocity of the object A, v2 is the velocity of the object B. So v1, v2 is a final momentum. So final momentum of object to object is equal to initial momentum of two object. That means here m1 v1 is the final momentum of object 1. Object 1. m2 v2 is the final momentum of the object 2. So the final momentum of two object is equal to the initial momentum of two object. So here the momentum is not changed. So from this we can say that the momentum is conserved. This is called conservation of momentum. Take your book, open the chapter number 9, Force and Laws of Motion. And see the topic 9.5, third law of motion. And see, this experiment was explained in the video. The next one, this is also explained, and this is also explained. The next topic is conservation of momentum 9.6, and this is the derivation of conservation of momentum. See, in the final derivation, this is a conservation of momentum formula. Take your book and read the topics what I discussed in the video. If you have any doubt relating this topic, you can ask your doubts through teachment session. Thank you for watching. The next class we will see the numericals related to conservation of momentum.